All right, over the weekend I saw Severance episode 3. I made some notes I want to cover so you can have a better experience if you're comparing your notes versus mine. All right, the first thing is from the previous 2 episodes, there seems to be like a dual meaning when the main character, female character, shows up. She's in the first scene, she's on the table and she's waking up. And that scene reminds me of the Maze Runner when they're brought into the glade. So she's on the table, it's kind of like being born into the world. She finds out that she chose to go through the severance procedure. It's a lot like if you watch my Question Reality episode 5, I actively chose to be born again into this body, into this world. So I see that scene somewhat like that because it's a voluntary action. It's why if I ever write another book, it's going to be called Voluntary Existence. And this concept of us voluntarily being here should change the way we form the entire reality in society, because if we're all here voluntarily, are we getting our money's worth? Are we having the best possible experience? Now, Severance is much darker. So she's on the table and they ask her if she knows who she is, who are you, what's your name, a bunch of questions, and she didn't know the answer to any of those questions. Now think about yourself when you show up in this world. Now obviously you're a baby, so the doctor's not asking you those questions, but your parents kind of ask you, hi. You know, they try to train you what your name is, but if anybody asks you where you were before you came here, you have no idea. Your mind is completely erased, just like their minds are erased when they enter the Lumen company. So we choose to come here, we have amnesia of where we previously were, and we're conditioned into learning a culture. So on her first day, she had to learn about the scary numbers, she had to learn about the wacky dude that was all about the waffle parties and all the stupid little incentives. Us, when we're born into like the way we condition behaviors through incentives, rewards, positive and negative reinforcement, things like that. So this whole thing is about how do you reshape the person. And if you think about in episode 3, when she tries to escape again, they put her through that reprogramming situation where she has to say that she apologizes or that she committed wrong. It reminds me of being in like 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade when the kids were all talking in class and the teachers would say, oh, you got to write 50 times or 100 times or 150 times, I will not talk in class, I will not talk in class. Think about that programming. Now, the weird thing about it is, this occurred to me just now. A lot of strange things happened to me while I was in school. I was always exempt from all the punishment and conditioning the other students had to go through. So all the kids had to write all this, but I was always exempt from doing it. Now, for a good reason though, in class, and I don't know if it's me that I'm the most brainwashed out of all of them, but the teachers wanted everybody to sit with their hands folded, sit up straight, look forward in class, and have your listening ears on. This was so simple for me to accomplish, to just fold my hands, keep my mouth shut, and listen in class. The rest of the kids in the class could not. I don't know why. They just can't sit still. They can't sit down, shut their mouth, and not talk. They just can't do it. They couldn't help but talk. Not only would they talk, some of them were like climbing on the desks and jumping around and acting crazy. Now, again, being a truther, I know that the fact that I'm able to follow what I'm programmed to do, I know that's a sign of that I was programmed. No, I get it, but I wasn't doing it for that. I didn't want to write 150 times, and I wanted to get to the next stage of whatever the class was. Sometimes I had teachers who felt like they were taunting us to get the punishment, and I never wanted any of the punishment. Some of the other kids, it was as if they were positively reinforced, not even positively reinforced, they were conditioned into desiring punishment. I'm not a person that desires punishment, but I did notice there's some people that want you to yell at them. In fact, when you yell at some people, they're thrilled to get that energy from you. So yeah, there's a lot of strange conditioning that goes on, and they're now conditioning this lady to have to apologize for trying to break free, trying to escape. Also, one of her first instincts were, when she first wakes up, is she's scrambling all around trying to find where the exit is. Where's the door? Find the exit. Now, that's also what mice do when you put them in. Well, I haven't done the experiment, but from what I understand with the mice in the mice house or the mice maze, they frantically try to find an exit, and then once they can't find an exit, then they just kind of submit and they just give in, and then they become programmable and docile and conditionable. The whole, what do you think it meant that you can't remove information from the location? Is that kind of like you can't leave here with anything? You know, the saying goes, you never see a U-Haul truck behind a hearse, then you can't take any of these material possessions with you. Although the pharaohs, they had, actually now we're told that pharaohs, I don't know, who knows. But the whole not removing information, I was thinking about that all week. You know, what does that mean, that you can't remove the information? Like the book Simulation Theory I wrote, and my other book that I wrote those that if I do choose to come back to life, I want to find them in a future lifetime so I could rapidly re-educate myself to get myself up to speed. It'd be nice if we did that for people, to create like a frequently asked questions of, obviously you can't read when you're first born, but it would be nice to get a briefing at some point. Like maybe when you turn 18, somebody says, all right, hey, listen, you're considered a legal adult now. Here's a little manual to kind of catch you up to speed on what you need to know. Now, religious people will say, well, of course, that book already exists. It's called the Bible. But yeah, maybe, yeah. The other thing is the secrecy aspect. I realized watching that show how evil secrecy is. Just the idea of, you know, the lady that's the boss, and then the guy that's like the doctor guy that injected all of them. They monitor people and they have secrets, and these secrets, especially about what the whole entire Lumen place is all about, gives them an advantage over everybody. Reminded me of Westworld. Do you remember in Westworld, I think it was the first episode, where the lady with the cigarette, she's talking to the guy that you find out is the guy that designed the robots. She says, oh, you figured out that something different is going on here, but you don't quite know what it is. And so that is like Earth. We're all told what this whole experience is, what the rules are, what the laws are, but none of it may actually be true. We created everything. There was no manual that came with Earth. We don't know who like the admin group is. So, and even the religions, everything, the science, everything has been us testing the physics engine and making our best guess as to what the heck all this is. None of us really know. Some people like me have memories of where I was before I came here, but still, I have no idea what this world is. We don't even know what the shape of the place is, what if it's enclosed, if it goes forever. We're told we live on, you know what we're told. You were in science class. I'm not going to go through that, but we were all told all that, but we've never actually seen that for ourselves. And for some, that's like, the average person can't understand what that means. But if you needed an analogy, think of in Animal Farm that, I think it was a raven that told the other birds about Sugar Candy Mountain.